Welcome everybody back to the Cabin Podcast. I'm just so
Just bury you in dirt. Just dirt.
Today we are still going with our haunted what were we calling it? The haunted cabin?
I think it was the haunted cabin. Yes, that's what it was.
Mm.
Spooky.
We are still
cabin.
going with our Halloween theme because it's a spooky month.
It is.
Today we are joined by me, Kenny, and my good friends, as always, Cameron,
Hey.
Alan.
Nathaniel.
Hello.
Do not interrupt me when I'm doing the introduction. I thought we knew this. And then Connor. Okay.
And me.
But today we have a special guest.
We have our spooky expert.
Yes.
Hello.
This is Mary,
Yeah.
and she's going to be schooling us today on our spooky knowledge.
Yeah, you know her from D&D.
Yes, I'm
If you
in the
watch-
D&D.
If you watch the
And
And
D&D.
also, if you watched our streams, Cameron and I were briefly doing a can join vampire stream, but that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, because Twitch deleted the videos.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Wait, why?
They delete videos after like 2 weeks, so you have to get it off of there real quick.
That's rough.
I got
And
the
that
file
was
first.
when we
that I
didn't
had-
have
the file
editing
that I had
capabilities.
got deleted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Kenny was crippled.
Yeah.
That stupid boy. So you guys
Yeah.
have to pre-play that game all over again.
Yeah, sadly.
yeah.
I mean, it's a fun game. We just got kind of far, and I don't want to do what I just did it over again.
I mean, we weren't that far. I beat the game and we were not.
Well,
that
I know,
far.
but I mean that was like 3 hours of work.
It was 6 hours, actually. We played it
6,
twice.
Holy crap.
Yep.
That's true.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, let's get on track. How has everybody been this past week?
Oh,
My wrist is
Fabulous.
sore.
Oh my god.
Super stressed out.
Hey Kenny, I'm having
Yeah.
a wonderful week.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
me
having
about
a-
your wonderful week, Cameron.
Let's see. I went to bingo yesterday
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
You like-
again
fucking-
because we
Do
have
Do
a
you
gambling
regularly go to bingo now?
every 2
We didn't
weeks.
win anything, though.
No, we never do. There's $1 popcorn. That's worth it, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
For
It's
gambling.
a lot of popcorn for $1.
Yeah, it's good. We didn't win anything, sadly. What else did we do? Oh, we just came back from
We just came back from
from
getting food.
Vietnamese food. Had some
What's it
lo
like-
mein.
Not having a job and going to college.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't even know what you said, and I feel depressed.
I feel like I did something else, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, I edited a ton of D&D videos, which made me super happy.
Oh, wow.
Did it?
No, but I just want to be happy. So yeah, how was your week, Connor?
Oh, fuck. Alright. Oh, here we go. It was okay. Working. Doing school. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm just planning on chilling out tonight and getting pizza for this and playing video games, so
Sounds like a
I'm
good
doing
Friday.
alright.
Okay,
Yeah.
Alan, I know what
Yeah.
your answer is going to be, but tell us.
No, I don't want to talk about it, Cameron. I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Shit.
Kenny,
I'm
how
a-
was your
I'm a
week?
skip.
Don't talk, Alan. You said what you had to say.
I did.
Kenny.
Kenny, it's your turn.
It's my turn. So let me tell you about my Super Sunshine Week. Monday.
Broke my leg.
No,
I wish.
see, Monday, right? I've been like cheating my diet this week, and it's not been too good.
Okay.
I've
Uh,
been there, dude.
Yeah. So
I feel
like
bad.
this
Oh.
past weekend, it was my birthday. I still didn't get a happy birthday from everybody, but
I said happy birthday. Mary said
I said happy birthday.
it's too late. But yeah,
I think
I
you're
was
just
chowing down on my
looking for God.
cake this weekend, and then continuing from the just the celebrating and eating whatever I can want.
Mhm.
I've just been trashing myself this whole entire week, and I don't feel good. But I
Sorry,
still do
man.
it because that's just food that I haven't had in a long time.
Fair enough.
So it's gonna take me a little bit back to get into my diet. And on top of that, it's just been super stressful for some reason. It's been so busy this past week. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
School.
It's gonna be midterms soon.
My family's been like, "Oh, Kenny, you need to do more stuff," and I'm just like, "Oh, please, I have school."
Yeah, that can't be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know what? After this, I'm gonna go eat.
Mhm.
Go eat some good things for myself, and then go play some Yakuza
Oh, which
because I've
one?
been
Nice.
getting really into that one.
Which one? 0?
Yakuza Kiwami. It's a
Oh,
remake
okay.
of the first one.
Oh, gotcha. Is that on PlayStation?
Yeah,
Nice.
I have never fallen so hard for a game this past decade. It's so great.
Cool. Well,
There's a new fucking Jackbox. What the fuck?
already?
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I wanna play it.
Yeah.
Is it
I
horror
don't
related?
care about Jackbox anymore. I don't know what it is. I'm just not excited at all.
Yeah, I don't care.
Fuck you.
Well, I mean, I'm more excited for Mario Party more than anything.
I guess. You don't even
I
have
don't-
a Switch, do you?
I don't have a Switch, but I've always played a lot. I've played almost every single Mario Party other than what was it, the second one, I think.
Dang, the best one. I love the second one.
I haven't played it,
I
but
Okay. Are we gonna start?
yeah, we already started,
So-
Alan. I don't know where you've been.
Yeah. You
Let
fool.
us
You
get
fool.
on topic.
Yes.
So
What?
today
Oh,
we're talking about scary games.
yes.
Woo!
The horror genre kind.
Yeah, okay.
Now, what are your feelings on horror games, people? Do you like
I
them?
think most of them. I think most of them do it very poorly.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I think that they're very good, but there's a lot of them that are poopy.
Yep. Just like
Mhm.
that seems just like what we said about horror movies. I think.
I wasn't
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
sorry, so you can't apply anything that happened, and that's that one to this one.
So one thing that Cameron and I were talking about over dinner is that the horror genre of games is unique in that rather than the genre title defining the game's mechanics, it sort of just defines its content.
Yeah.
So there's not really any one way to say like, yeah, I like all horror games or I don't like any horror games because there's a lot of them that do it pretty differently.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like there's some that are just like
I'd say-
first person shooters.
Mhm.
Like Fear is one of them, and
Yep.
there's got to be another one I'm thinking of. I don't think Doom
You
counts.
forget about the entire Resident Evil series.
No, first person. Oh, Prey.
Um,
Prey.
Resident Evil 7. But yeah.
Right, yeah.
Prey, I think, does it pretty well. But I don't.
You know
I don't count
what
it as horror.
My favorite horror game, I think,
That's not the question.
is Soma.
You went
Oh,
off in
Soma's
an
good.
entirely different
Oh yeah,
direction.
dude. That's the game I was trying to think
I
of.
just you were talking about first-person horror games, so I thought Soma.
Yeah, I was talking first person shooter games that are horror based.
Oh no, you don't shoot in that game. Oh,
No, you don't.
there's no guns in the ocean. That's just a
Mm-mm.
fact.
Dude, it messes with your brain hole.
Actually, you know what's odd? I find that a lot of the horror games that are generally considered bad come from indie developers.
Well, yeah, I think early access in general has a lot of bad horror games.
Well,
Mm.
yeah, the market's kind of oversaturated right now with. I mean, Steam in general is really oversaturated with shovelware, but
Yeah.
survival horror is just one of the unfortunate trends
Mm-hmm.
that got really, really popular.
Yeah, I can't think of
I think
any.
the problem is that when you have a game that isn't like really like finished, you can't have early access games that's horror because if you don't finish it, I don't know. I think that the only way you can finish the scary aspect of a game is if you finish the game. And so if there are parts that are like unpolished, it'll just take you out and it's not scary anymore.
I guess, yeah. I think it's just a tag that is used way too often to describe something that's super popular, like the horror genre in general, when it's not even really thematically horror.
So
Oh, it's so hard
So
to
maybe
explain.
that's one thing we can talk about. Like, what is it that makes a horror game, in your opinion?
Atmosphere.
So,
That's a little too broad.
Well, I mean, I think a game that has good atmosphere in the horror genre, like Resident Evil, like the newest one, what is it?
Well, they're all called Biohazard.
Bioshock?
Biohazard. I almost said Bioshock by mistake.
Bioshock is a horror game, technically, in my opinion.
The first one, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But okay, I have an actual question.
Oh wait, Mary asked one first. What
No,
makes
I
a
just
horror
want to
game?
clarify something.
Oh, okay.
Before we...
Gotcha.
So, Kenny, did you say that the worst horror games are indie developers, or made by indie developers?
That's the general trend that I see. I can't think of any big budget or mainstream game that's horror that has, been like a commercial failure.
So, are we just gonna ignore Baldi's Basics? I'm kidding.
Oh no.
But I
I'm not sure
mean,
what that is.
like, we have obviously the first two things that come to my
There
head are
always going to
Five
be
Nights at
outliers.
No, Connor, let me talk.
Oh no.
So the first two things that come up to my head when you talk about indie horror games are Five Nights at Freddy's and Doki Doki Literature Club.
What about Slenderman?
That is also true.
I think Slenderman is
Hallmarks
huge.
of horror.
Well,
Well,
here's the thing. I'm not talking about sort of indie developers being like bad at horror games. I'm just saying that the most common horror games are bad, and they generally come from indie developers.
I think that, can I just say, I think the reason for that is because indie developers, there's way more indie developers making horror games right now than actual like real like I shouldn't say real, but more bigger game studios. So
Yeah.
indie developers have a lot more opportunities to do it super right or super bad. So the market for horror games is flooded by indie developers, and a lot of them are bad and a lot of them are good. And so that's why we always think of, when we think of good horror games, we think of a lot of them from indie developers, and then we also think of the really shitty ones that are pointless.
Well, and the other thing is horror games are kind of a niche market, so a lot of AAA developers, especially in the current day and age, aren't willing to take their chances on them. Because even though Resident Evil 7 was very critically well received, it didn't do the kind of numbers that they were hoping it to do. So there's just not as many AAA horror games that are getting made anymore.
I find that strange, actually, how in cinema, like the horror genre is so mainstream that I think there's like a horror movie made every month.
Yeah.
Really?
Almost.
Dang.
And in the game industry, we get like maybe one a year.
Yeah. I think it's more like 4 or 5. But it's like I said earlier, people use the horror tag really loosely.
Mm-hmm.
When there's like a scary monster, like in Doom, people would consider Doom horror, but I don't think it is. You're just a badass.
Well, let me just look up Doom right now on Steam and see if it has the horror tag.
That's a good point. You should do that. I didn't do my research, but I'm guessing it does.
It actually doesn't have horror. It has
That is surprising.
FPS, action, gore, demon, shooter, sci-fi. Let me see. Is there anything else? Let's see. Nobody. I think.
Dang, that's surprising.
Oh,
I'm proud.
There are. It says popular. Actually, I take that back. Popular user-defined tags for this product. I think like near the middle, a little bit lower to the bottom, there is horror, but it is definitely not one of the higher ones.
It's not
So
what they're
I think
selling the
that's-
game for.
No. Yeah.
Some people can say it spooked me a little bit, but it's like, nah, I'm Doom guy. I don't get scared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill these things.
And you have these overpowered weapons that you can kill creatures in one hit.
Yeah, the big fucking
Yeah.
gun.
But if he was in the ocean, no, he'd be fucked because there's no guns there.
Yeah, we're back
Big
to Soma.
fat granny.
Yeah,
It's just that Soma's pacing is so good.
it is. But we're not here to talk about
Yeah.
Soma only.
We will soon, because that's good. Talk about that. I wouldn't say this. I think that a really good game that I could consider to be horror, but isn't like really that scary, would be a game like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, in the sense of that it doesn't incite fear in me, but the concepts of the game are horrifying.
Well, no, and I absolutely do think that constitutes a horror game, because the thing is, like, well, that's a game from like the early to mid '90s, which point there wasn't really like the Resident Evil had not come out, Silent Hill had not come out. There wasn't really an established sort of formula for what a horror game could be. So I think that's totally valid to say that that's a horror game.
Yeah, it actually is considered a horror game. Point-click adventure and horror. This game's more spooky than Doom.
It is.
Doom is
I
spooky,
do agree.
though.
It's not supposed. I don't
It's
think
not
Doom is
supposed to
supposed
be.
to intentionally be spooky.
No, it's just set in like a hell verse with a bunch of demons and ugly looking monsters.
Don't make jokes.
That's not a joke.
No, I was telling myself that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's like I need to put my timer up because I forgot once again.
You dumb
Mother fucker.
Yes.
You've incited me.
All right.
Well, let me ask everybody, what is their favorite horror game? Let's just jump right into it now.
Soma.
Soma?
Yeah.
Explain
like-
to me why you like Soma so much, Mr. Connor.
I've watched so many videos. I kind of like it because I kind of like I have no mouth and I must scream because all the bad shit's already happened. It's a very fresh take on a post-apocalyptic environment, and you know, I've watched so many videos. I've seen walkthroughs of that game, and you know, I know what's going on, and yet I also don't know what the fuck's going on. It's really refreshing because it's like they have clear reasons for things as to why they exist, and it still kind of feels like a mystery to me. It's just I just feel like that goal for survival by sending all of these digital souls out into space to survive, and even then, if you do that, you still have to are constantly asked to define what being an actual person is, because I think Soma in Latin means body, and it's the question of do we still exist as people even if we don't have a body, and so it's like, does it really matter if we send these people up? Because if you don't define it as that, I don't see why not. But then
Nice
again,
spoilers,
if you
Connor.
do that, I'm not spoiling the ending because it's the whole point of the game is to send the Ark up. You learn about that, and the game's like 3 years old. I'm gonna kill you, Alan. How dare you?
Actually,
You've
here's
incited
an
me
interesting
as well.
question. Have you played Soma?
I have played Soma.
I have played Soma.
I
I'm a
haven't
horror
gotten the chance to, but I've watched so many vlogs
Soma
that I can
is
just say
terrifying
that.
to play.
In a way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It, like I said, atmosphere is very important in that game. Because it's made by the Amnesia crew, right, if I remember correctly, right?
Frictional,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah, and they're really good at their sound design and their atmosphere sounds, and it makes it really uncomfortable. It like terrifies
There's one
you
part
to
in
go on.
particular that I like almost could not play through because it freaked me out so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
should we move on to someone else? Favorite horror game,
no.
please?
No.
No, it's just Soma's at the top, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, someone's at the top.
Okay.
And right above, and do you know what's above that? Doom.
Okay, I'll just go
Big
next.
fat grandma. What's your favorite horror game?
Okay, but
Cameron?
first, I went on to Steam Library and it looks at your library and you could sort it through tags.
Uh-huh.
And I just gotta say, Angry Birds Space is a horror game. It's
What?
one of the
The
tags for
fuck?
Angry Birds is horror, and I don't know why. I just had to put that out there. But my favorite, I think, horror game is Dead Space 1. Because that is a very terrifying game. Everything after that is like a Hollywood Michael Bay thing. And it's terrible. But Dead Space 1 is genuinely very scary.
Yeah, Dead Space 1's pretty scary.
Yeah. And
I think 2's still pretty good at with certain aspects.
I haven't
but
played 2.
I 1 is where it's at.
I played 1
1
and
is where it's
3.
at.
So I skipped
3
1.
is
3 is filled with microtransactions and just kind of BS.
That is horrifying.
multiplayer.
That is horrifying. You're right.
And it caused the death of the company
series,
that
yeah.
made those games.
Oh, and the company. You're right.
Yeah, EA fucking killed them. Yeah, EA killed them.
Yeah.
It's one of their victims.
But yeah, that's my favorite game. Horror game. I think Soma's great too, but I just want to throw Dead Space out there.
Interesting.
Oh,
I totally forgot about the Dead Space stuff, but
I know.
for me, my favorite horror game that I played it, but I didn't finish it because I was just too scared. It's an old game that's called The Haunting Ground.
Is that multiplayer?
No, it's a single player.
Okay.
It's like a old PS2 game.
I've
that was made
That
heard
sounds
of
really
it.
familiar.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know if
sounds-
I've ever
It's
played
part
it,
of
but-
the Clock Tower series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Still
Yeah, it was
lost.
like a spiritual successor or something. And you play as this sort of like a young teenage girl, I think. And basically you're like wandering around this manor.
Oh, I do
and
remember
throughout-
this. Okay.
Yeah, like throughout the story, you are being chased down by these bosses that are like very, how should I say this? They're like very they're creepy in the sense of how they pose a threat to you, the main character,
Mhm.
because the main character is a young woman, and the whole entire plot revolves around her and her chastity, and there's this whole sexual undertone that's very creepy, and you're just wandering out this little house being chased by crazed lunatics that want to impregnate you, and it's not it's not a good time.
That's terrifying.
It is.
You know what? My favorite horror game now, I changed my mind. It's Night Trap. Sorry. I've decided to
You know,
What's-
Connor, you don't need
change
to lie to
everything
me.
about
You don't need
myself.
to lie to me. I know you love Soma. You don't have to prove to yourself.
It's not. It's Night Trap.
Okay, Alan, inform us.
Oh, hello. So my favorite one is gonna surprise you. I don't like it specifically because of the horror aspect. I like it more for the way it tells its story. So personally, right, I like Five Nights at Freddy's. Although I will admit, the fucking series went on for way too long.
Yeah, he got
In
a
the
little.
first,
Okay.
in the first 3 games, I appreciate the way the creator told the story.
Okay, it's
Apart
very
from that,
simple.
I
think.
also like Layers of Fear.
Oh,
Layers
that
of Fear. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the walkathon,
spooked me.
whatever.
Yeah, it spooked me.
Layers of Fear. Isn't that the one with the painting?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
just a
better
walking
experience.
sim.
It's a better experience than Gone Home, I'll tell you that.
What's Gone Home?
We're not getting
Is that
into
the
Gone
one
Home in this.
With the cat.
No,
Isn't Gone Home the cat thing?
no.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's got a 9 out
Oh,
of 9.5 out of 10
that-
on IGN.
Oh,
Well, that's
Gone
IGN.
Home. What? Mary, what game am I thinking about that involves a cat lady?
There's a lot of them, dude.
Well, there's a
It's like
game
a-
that's literally called The Cat Lady.
No.
She's got you there.
It's like everybody's animals, and she left college, and she went back home, and
Oh,
Night in the
that's Night in the
Woods.
Woods. Also, you're a
she,
furry.
Night in the Woods. Yeah.
Alan, did you just say you're a furry if you
You're
like it?
sorry.
Yeah, I did.
That one won an award at IGF.
Yeah. Mary, what is your favorite horror game?
Okay, I was thinking about this the entire time we were talking, and I didn't really come to a conclusion. So I'm just gonna say 2 games, but I'm gonna keep them both brief as to why I like them.
Okay.
Resident Evil 4, because I think it's the perfect marriage of action gameplay with horror sensibilities, and Silent Hill 2, because the way it sort of unveils its mysteries is really, really engaging,
Mhm.
and it's just the atmosphere of that game is just perfect.
Hmm.
Agreed. Good
I tried
classics.
playing Resident Evil 4 back when it first came out, but I had the Wii version for it, and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
unplayable for me.
Yeah.
So I just never got into it.
Didn't we?
Oh, gotcha.
Which one's 4 again? That's the.
You play as
Okay.
Leon.
Yeah.
You're in that Spanish village.
That's right. Okay.
Oh, so it's not the one in Africa.
That's the 5th
No,
one.
that's 5.
That's the
that
one
one's
we
bad.
played together, Alan.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That was. I did not have fun.
That's the racist one.
Yeah.
Is it
Is it
racist?
racist?
From what I've heard, yeah, I have not played the game myself, but a lot of people I know who have are like, yeah, that game's racist.
I don't
I'm
know
sorry.
if it's racist,
What game
but-
are you guys saying?
Resident Evil 5.
I'm missing.
It's the way they
Yeah.
depict
Oh
the village.
God.
Oh, is it because like all the black people are zombies and like the only 2 white guys are like not zombies?
I mean, that could be part of it, but I think
Probably.
it's mainly how they portray this village as being disgusting and very run down
Being
and
a
gross.
shithole, yeah.
basically.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not gonna voice opinions here. Let's move
That's
on.
fair.
You
Yeah,
can
let's
kind
move
of
on.
apply
Sure.
that. you could kind of apply that to Resident Evil 4 almost, but
You
at the same
could,
time,
but the
it's
thing
like,
is, like, when I played it, I didn't get like it didn't really seem like it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
it
gonna
didn't seem
try and
real. Like it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it looked like it felt like the village was in like the late 1970s, like not 1970s, 1770s or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
I mean, it felt
Like, it was like a
really
super old
absurd,
village.
and it didn't really feel like
Yeah.
it was grounded enough in reality to where they were making actual like
Mhm.
this is what these people are like, you know,
Hmm.
like.
Yeah, I'm
But that
here
was
to get
just my
the
takeaway from
president's daughter. And I'm in some weird fucking village in Spain. Let's go. All right, sorry.
Yeah. So everyone said their opinion on their favorite
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Now-
Yeah.
All right, let's pit them against each other.
No.
Someone wins.
I mean, I'm not going to argue there, but what's with all these multiplayer horror games coming out lately? Like you got Dead by Daylight. You got there's a bunch of new ones coming out. There's an MMO. Let me see if I can find it.
An MMO.
Hunt Showdown, I think it's called.
Is it a battle royale?
No, it's like PvE, I think. So you have a bunch of players against like your bounty
You have a
hunters.
bunch of players
I think.
versus one enemy. Usually.
No, it's multiple enemies. It's like you are bounty hunters. You have to go after this creepy monster like somewhere.
All right, does Evolve technically count in that category?
I think so. Yeah.
As horror?
I mean, I don't know. Probably not horror. Probably not.
Well, you see, Cameron, I understand why they're doing it. So you take the aspect of multiplayer, and that gets you a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes playing with their friends.
Yes.
Then you got a horror
No.
aspect. Horror is really easy to cash in on, and then you just combine them.
Yeah. Oh, also there's the Overkill's Walking Dead. The people who did Payday, they're doing a Walking Dead version of it, kind of. And it actually looks
That's
really
true.
good. It looks
Really?
fun.
What
But
is
it's
it
not out
called?
yet.
What's that?
What's it called?
It's Overkill's Walking Dead. That's all I've seen it called.
Overkill's The Walking Dead.
Is
Yeah.
it out yet?
No.
No, it's released November 6th.
Then don't
2000.
say anything because you don't know what it's
One
like.
day before
No, I'm
my
saying it's coming
birthday?
out. It's. I said it looked good from what I've seen.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to not judge a book by its preface.
No, I know, but it's Payday. It's the Bankers of Payday, which I really liked when they first
Everybody
began.
can make a bad game, Cameron.
Alan. I'm just saying it's
Oh,
better than
man,
the other
dude, these
Walking Dead
zombies,
stuff.
I wish
He's
you could
watching
have
the
different
trailer right
settings for like. I want season 1 zombies that can use tools and chase people fast.
Oh yeah.
Fast. Season 1 zombies were fucking terrifying. Anyways.
I want a zombie that can hold a machine gun and shoot me.
Like in
I want a
Red
zombie
Snow.
that can hold me and look into my eyes.
Like Warm Bodies.
Warm bodies.
God, okay,
I wanna
can we talk
fall in
about that
love.
movie?
I actually
That was
I
last
saw
week.
that movie. I saw that movie in theaters, and I don't know why. I don't know
Let's
why.
hold on. I'm gonna rein you back in. We're talking about games.
Yeah, we're talking about games.
Thank you.
It's just having fun.
movie
just
is a
having
game.
fun. Let me leave the pasture. Let me go into the forest.
Mm.
Cameron, bring us to the next topic.
Next topic. Upcoming games? Is that what you're talking about? Or Mary, did we talk about something earlier?
What do you mean?
We talked
Like-
about this at
Good question.
eating food. Did we bring up
Oh
anything
yeah.
else?
Well, what we talked about was that. Well, sort of in the realm of what I mentioned earlier is there's not a whole lot of, like AAA horror games. Like the market's just not really there as much anymore because the two biggest franchises for it were Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Mhm.
Silent Hill just got gradually more and more mediocre, and now Konami just makes pachinko machines.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's right.
Resident Evil,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
although the most recent Resident Evil game was an exception to this, but Resident Evil just got
Yeah.
very, very action oriented for a
Right.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And there haven't really been any like new IPs made by AAA studios that have,
I think
gotten kind of attention.
Outlast.
Outlast is in AAA.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
unless
isn't?
it's in AAA, but I do see like
What the fuck?
that's another thing that I was gonna get into is that like the zeitgeist for horror games sort of ended up going towards the indie game scene because when Amnesia: The Dark Descent came out in 2010, that
Let's
was
go.
like people recognized that it was really marketable because it had a lot of it was getting a lot of attention on YouTube, and people are like, oh, I like a lot of developers just kind of thought we can do that too. And a lot of the horror games that followed that had really similar gameplay conventions and a similar sort of general, like, this is how the game is played, and this is what the horror genre is. And frankly, I got a little tired of it because I don't really find. Oh, yeah, this was another thing that I wanted to talk about that Cameron said some of you might disagree with me on. I think that horror games are scarier when you have a gun that you can use.
Are they? I'm gonna have to.
I think that
say no to that.
I
one.
think I think yes and no, just because in the sense of that when you have a gun that you can use, that implies that I don't know, like when you can just run away, you have to naturally limit the monsters that are going after you. You can't really make them better than anything else than I'm going to chase you and that's about it. Like when you have a gun, that means you can give more tools for your monsters that you're fighting to use. It means that they can run faster, they can hide, they can sneak, they can do other things than just aimlessly walk around, see you, and then chase you until they lose.
Exactly. And the other side of it, just so that I can make my case as to why I think this, is that on a gameplay end, like with a game like Amnesia, your only choice when you hear a monster is to run or hide. Which, that's fine. That sort of makes sense for a horror context, but personally, what makes me more stressed out is when I hear a monster coming and I have to make the decision of, do I try and shoot it and potentially run out of ammo? Do I run, try to get away from it? Just by giving me that agency as the player, it puts me into more of an engaged situation, which, to me is more immersive and to me feels more like the kind of horror experience that I want.
And you have that limited ammo supply.
Well, that's another thing. Another big difference between an action game and a horror game is the ammo availability. Like, if you have plentiful ammo and you never have to worry about being in a tough situation, it's probably not that much of a horror game. If your weapons aren't that strong, if your ammo is severely limited, then you're more in horror game territory, I think.
That's why I think Resident Evil 7 did that really well. Here's a question then. If that's the case, would you say that The Last of Us is a horror game?
No.
I would.
It's an action game.
They give you a ton of
I didn't
ammo.
The Last of Us, so I don't know.
I still think
I love
that
Last of Us,
horror. I still think a lot of horror games.
I remember the time I borrowed Last of Us from you.
Let Helen talk.
Fucking talk. I still think horror games give the players too much ammo, in my opinion.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah.
So you're of the opinion that horror games are scarier when you don't have weapons to fight the monsters.
I think that the decision to I understand the point you're making with making the decision, right? That's fine. I agree with that. But I feel like they give you too much ammo, so it isn't really that much of a decision.
Okay.
Like in Resident Evil, right? The new one that came out recently. I saw a gameplay for it, and after you got guns, it was just it reminded me a lot of previous Resident Evil games where you just destroy people by shooting them, and it was kind of repetitive at that point.
Okay,
and that's what I thought, at least.
What about classic Resident Evil? What do you think of the first Resident Evil game, or did you play that one at all?
I didn't play it.
Okay,
Barry's my best friend.
I didn't have a PlayStation.
I have the remake. Cameron and I played a little bit of it, and it was really hard. But that game really limits your ammo a lot.
Oh yeah.
The thing is that when you think of horror games, Resident Evil has one of the most defining moments of horror games when those dogs jump through the windows to attack you. Because they were one of the first games to utilize camera angles to spook you.
Cinematic camera angles, yeah. We talked about this in my History of Interactive Media class. One of the things that really made Resident Evil stand out, the first one, was that sort of use of camera angles. And even though, from a contemporary standpoint, it makes the gameplay feel kind of clunky. But at the time, that was people were looking for that sort of cinematic quality in games. They were trying to see how can we make video games more, and one of the ways to do that was to sort of make an appeal to cinema.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think at that time you could really make a camera that follows you in a third person angle constantly work, especially in a mansion with like just basically like straight lines. It's not an open area where you can constantly move your camera around. So I think that made the best with what they had at the time, for sure.
You ever seen Majora's Mask?
Are you saying that's a horror game?
I'm pretty sure that's a horror game.
I would not consider that a horror game.
If Majora's Mask is a horror game,
hold on, guys. I'm gonna look at Majora's Mask on Steam to see if it has horror.
Yeah, because Nintendo puts their stuff on.
Nintendo totally puts their games.
Yeah, Connor, they put it on.
I'm just pooping you.
Yeah, I don't think Majora's Mask is a horror game, but it does have some horror elements. I'll give it that.
I personally disagree with you, but that's fine.
Don't think the selling point of it is a horror game. It's an adventure game. It's an action adventure and puzzling.
I disagree with you there.
I think Majora's Mask is.
I have played Majora's Mask. I've got pretty far in Majora's Mask.
Isn't it like it's like that game caused a lot of inspiration for spooky stuff. You can say it isn't or isn't a horror game, but it had some of the strongest horror aspects from if you're saying non-horror, strongest horror aspects. I mean, there are tons of creepypastas based off of that game.
Oh, true, yeah.
And like it's like, say what you will, but it is a great source for creativity in the spooky aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it did spark a lot. It sparked creepypastas, I guess, as well. Just horror games in general.
Yeah.
I don't think it was horror movies that sparked it. It was just media.
No.
Which is interesting.
Nobody wants to write fan fiction about horror movies.
That's not true.
I'm going to just pretend you didn't say that.
What about Twilight?
People write fan fictions about everything, dude.
I
True,
know,
but I mean...
I'm just messing.
I just think fanfics about popular horror games are more popular than actual film.
Yeah, because then it's spookier.
Yeah. So, like, Pets Cop, right?
Yeah, dude.
That's a good creepypasta.
It's not a creepypasta, though. It's an ARG. You big fool.
Oh, wait. Please explain that to me. What's an ARG?
Okay, an ARG is an alternate reality game.
Okay.
I love horror shit. I just don't like horror games. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
So an ARG is basically where the community is involved in the progress of the story. So the developer or whatever, the person who creates the videos or the story, leaves hints in the thing for the player to find and uncover the story or progress it.
Which is very interesting. I like Pets Cop.
I think Pets Cop was really good, but I think the issues is that as it went on, I think it spent too much time adding new mysterious aspects to the game that you're trying to figure out, what does this mean? Like, if I, when the first time you, the first episode, it's like, when he finds that grave and he's like, that's a dead kid, and like shit like that, like, there's not those many moments of spookiness in the Pets Cop as it continues. I shouldn't say that. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm gonna look it up and see if it's got the horror rating on it. But anyways,
yeah.
I think it needs to get spookier. So
yeah. Wait, Alan.
Oh,
Connor, go on.
There was like a 6-month period of waiting between 2 episodes.
That's right. It took forever. Oh, but yeah. Alan, what do you think of LSD Dreams Emulator? Have you seen that before?
I have not seen that.
You haven't. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mary?
Yeah, we talked about this last year, I think.
I remember this. It's a really interesting game. It was like, what was the year it came out?
I don't know that.
1998.
1998.
Yeah.
Was that before? No, that was after Resident Evil and Silent Hill. It was that late. Wow. Yeah, because that was PlayStation 1. This is PlayStation 2. But basically, LSD Dream Emulator is about like this. Was it a Japanese game, right?
Yeah, it was a really
Oh,
interesting
what the fuck do
experiment in,
you
like,
think?
random generation.
Yeah, but it was about this guy's dream journal, and he put it all in this one game, and it's just so freaky. Like, it's not. I would classify it as a horror game, but I don't think it was meant to be. Do you think so, Mary? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely surreal, which is definitely an aspect of a lot of horror games.
yeah.
It wouldn't immediately spring to mind if you asked me about horror games, but I can
Yeah.
see what you're getting at.
Because
It also has like what I was saying is that it was really experimental in terms of its random like procedural generation because not a lot of
Yeah,
games have
that's
that.
what
Like,
they say.
it's so completely random.
Yeah.
There's not even really any way to determine what the outcomes are going to be based on the things you do because it's just random every single time.
I think one of the really big horror aspects of that game is that it's defined horror by that it completely doesn't follow any set
Yeah.
of exact rules. And just like I think that puts you out of your comfort zone so much because you truly don't know what's coming.
Yeah, and I mean
In
there are some
in
really
every
disturbing
aspect.
visuals in the game too.
Yeah. So, Alan, so you like more psychological stuff then?
I
taste.
do.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I do like psychological way more, rather from gore. We've talked about this last
Have you guys
podcast.
ever heard of the game Sad Satan?
I have not.
No.
What is that?
It's for the best that you have. It's a game that you can only access on the deep web, and even then you don't want to play it because
Oh, that's
it's just
interesting.
it just fucks with you, and it randomly shows you pictures of pedophilia, and it's
Oh,
really
damn.
Oh, I'd
Just-
rather
it's
not,
just-
dog.
yeah.
It
It's
is
just
deep web.
I've only watched gameplay of it where they censor every image that appears, and
Yeah.
it's like by the end of it, you get stuck in this room as like there's like the sounds of people marching, and like this guy in a different language is like ranting, and like the room is warping, and the guy's like he turns off the game and he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm pretty nauseous.
Yeah,
'Cause
dude,
he's
I'd
like,
fucking throw
yeah.
up if I saw that shit. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
some
lie.
of those he describes some of the images and it's just like holy shit. There's
Interesting.
if that game got on the actual internet, that person who made it would have been hunted down
Yeah, they'd be going to
for
jail.
what he has
Yeah.
access to.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
That is genuinely very terrifying.
yeah.
Huh.
So there's that. I mean, what he did is he said that after I finished the game, I sent the copy to the FBI to let them know about this.
Oh, is
Because
that
he's like, yeah, this
Mudahar?
Yeah, Mudahar.
He's a
Yeah,
good boy.
Yeah.
I find him interesting. He looks for a lot of creepy shit.
Yeah,
Is he-
Cameron and I were watching his videos.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, deep web browsing.
Yeah, look it up. If you he never shows any of the stuff, but it's
Of course.
interesting. Just by the actual game itself, it's just so uncomfortable. I feel like if you really wanted to personify the concept of just being uncomfortable and just having your skin crawl, that is a very good example.
Yeah. Dang. How much time we got left?
I don't know. We don't wanna take
7
time.
minutes. Do you want to talk about upcoming games?
Are there any?
There's a
I don't
few.
know any.
I already brought up Walking Dead. Have you guys heard of Scorn?
Who?
Scorn. It's a very interesting. You could look it up. Watch a video right now if you want. It's
Oh wait! Oh, that one.
yes. It's like the album art for every metal band. It's the game.
Is that the game?
oh,
where
Oh,
you
I
are
remember seeing a trailer for this.
It looks
I
very
remember
interesting.
for this. I
I couldn't remember what the name was,
I thought
and
you
it
were
pissed me off. But I'm glad that you mentioned it because
Yeah.
I mistook that game for Agony, which was a
Yeah,
really
same.
bad
I did
game.
too.
which I heard was kind of bad.
Agony
Is
was.
Agony the one where he's just really mad?
That's,
Yeah, that one. It's just shit.
Which one was the game where you were a monster?
where
There's
you
a
were
lot of them.
monster.
No,
Um,
like you were the monster.
That's a lot.
Is that Agony?
Is that Soma?
Agony, you can go into demons' bodies and become the monsters, but it's like trying to escape hell, and it's like clearly they put all their effort into the first 2 levels, and you can like physically watch the effort that they put into the game just begin to just decay as by the end when you're fighting the final boss battle, it's like the frame rate goes down, the graphics are choppy, the cutscenes, like the lip syncing, it's just disgusting. It's just like not even like not disgusting in the sense of gore. It's just like really, really bad. And I think they put people to. They try to get people to buy it because of shock value from what they showed, and then they put nothing else into the rest of it.
Yeah, and then there's Inpatient, which is a VR game. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. I did not until today. But
Inpatient?
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like horror games are targeted for VR now, mostly. Oh, I should say one that's Scorn is what does it say? Scorn's released October 2018, so I don't know if it's out now or
it doesn't know. It's not out, and since it says initial release date, what? Oops.
Sorry, I just remembered. We were talking about upcoming games. The Supermassive Games, the studio that made Until Dawn, is working on a game that they revealed at EA or E3.
Yeah, is that the multiplayer one?
It's not multiplayer.
Okay.
At least I don't think it is. But Man of Medan or Medan, I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be an anthology. But the first game is Man of Medan, and it's coming out in 2019.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
I found what I was trying to talk about.
What was that?
Yeah, sorry. Finish your thought.
Oh no, that was all I was going to say.
Oh, okay. The game that I was talking about was called Project White.
Okay.
It's a game where you are a monster. It's like a Viking setting, I believe.
Huh.
You're a monster, and you hunt down people that sort of threaten you.
Okay.
It's a Viking horror game.
It's
I
like
did not
it's
see
like
anything about
Beowulf, but you're Grendel.
Oh, this looks really cool, actually.
It was shown at E3 last year.
Oh, it says 2017. Yeah.
Jesus, it's probably gonna.
What's this?
Project White,
like WIGHT.
Ooh, it looks nice, but you can see the parts where it's. Oh, Jesus.
It's like
does it have
you're
a release date
Smeagol
at
or
all?
something.
Yeah, you're like Smeagol.
I'd say you're like Grendel from Beowulf.
Ah, yeah,
if
that's
you
probably more
remember
accurate.
that.
Isn't he the big guy with like one eye or something?
One arm.
Grendel?
One arm?
One arm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of small though.
Ugh.
But
Like-
the other game I'm super excited about is Call of Cthulhu because I want to see how they do that one.
Yeah. Call of Cthulhu.
I think it's out already.
Is it out? I don't know. When does it come out?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I think
Call of
Games
Cthulhu, the official video game.
It says October 30th.
Initial release date. October 30th.
Oh wow, that's soon.
It's coming out soon. I really want to see what they do with this one.
What kind of game is it? Is it a survival horror?
It is a survival horror RPG,
yeah.
I think.
But Cthulhu or Lovecraftian horror is very hard to do, I feel, because it's very psychological for the most part.
I think that it sorry, keep going.
Well, it's like based on like the void. There's a nothingness, and it's just that kind of eerie vibe that Lovecraftian gives.
I think from playing Call of Cthulhu, I think it's just like it's about encountering things that are beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
Just like truly you like not that it's like such a messed up concept, but because it's so physically great and so massive that you can't even completely perceive it. And I feel like
that's really hard
tricky
to
to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why you never see any game or movie do anything with it. Because you need a big budget to portray it.
Yeah.
Correctly, at least.
I think that Did you guys ever talk about the movie The Mist last week when you talked about horror movies?
No, but I know of it. Why?
I read the Stephen King novel by that name.
All right, bummer. But we'll talk about that another chance we can
Next,
ago.
next.
Because I was
year.
thinking
Next
about
year.
next year. Because I was just thinking about something so great, but you can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
That reminded me of it for some reason. But yeah, moving on. Yeah.
I think that was pretty much all the games that I found interesting coming up. There's more definitely. Nothing I really want to mention.
I recently just finished playing Planescape Torment, and that's not really a horror game, but it's definitely got some horror elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
I might make a standalone video on that game because I really want to talk about that one.
Yeah,
But
that'd be cool.
yeah.
All right.
Nice. I think we've
we've
about done. There's 6 seconds left. The timer's about to go off in 3, 2, 1. Okay. And now we're done.
Can you edit in the sound of a gunshot at
No.
the very last second where
No.
I screamed?
Can you
That
put
was
it in
nice.
now?
Do it. Do it.
no.
Put it in now.
Oh, I should say I'm not the editor of the podcast. Kenny still is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, can you do that, Kenny?
Can you do
Oh
that,
yeah,
Kenny?
I can put in the sound effects from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. No Russian.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, do that exact thing.
Be
Okay.
our slave.
And I have a picture of 9/11.
I hate how
No.
Nah,
Oh.
yeah, don't do that.
I
Why not?
remember what
Maybe last month.
I
Okay.
remember that one time I for editing my Skyrim, you put in a picture of a girl dressed up like a suggestive penis wiggling around,
Wait, what?
and
First off, it wasn't suggestive at all from my perspective. It was just a
looked
girl
like
in a
it looked-
onesie, dressed up as a tomato, wiggling around.
It looked like a
Connor, you're just a dirty boy, okay?
Yeah,
No,
it's fine
I
to be a
don't
dirty boy.
Admit it.
No, stop! It looked like a wiener, and I didn't want it there.
Okay, I wish we ended this way sooner. Thank you all for watching.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you next week. We're gonna talk about SCPs.
Maybe.
Bye,
Oh
guys.
shit!
Yeah,
It was fun.
It was.
Cameron
fun.
doesn't change
Thanks,
his mind.
Thanks for joining us, Mary.
Thanks for joining
No
us.
problem.
Mind.
Thank
you next
Thank
week.
you.
Yeah. Bye. I'm gonna end
Fuck
it.
off.